and he asked if we had a lighter, and we were like, no, man. And like you just said, he was like, that's cool. And just kept on getting it. But that's the only time any of them even talked to us.
I have one good story from Denver. Sorry, I know we have our guest, James Ellsworth, which I want to hear all about James's life and trials and things like that. But I went out to Denver in 2012. It was for the Rugby National Championship. Shout outs Rocky Gorge. We won. I'm obliterated because I don't know how to act like a human being after that. And our hotel room was right across from a strip club called Shotgun Willie's. And a local staple there. It has such a cool sign. It looks like a shotgun that's drooped down like this. And so I go into Shotgun Willie's late because I'm not a strip club fella. Okay, I feel like I feel awkward in those situations. Okay, so I get in there late, and the rest of the team is there, and they're getting real turned up. And one of my coaches, he's a very wealthy guy, right? And I see him. The stripper comes by. You know how they have the little garter belt or whatever. You're supposed to give tips. I watched him put a stack of thick napkins in there and her not notice it. And I'm just, even in my like one eye open, I'm like, that's probably not going to end well. And then she turns around, looks at it. And before he could laugh at it as a joke, I saw this 300-pound Samoan yoke him up and escort him out of Shotgun Willie's faster than we could blink. And we all kind of looked at it, even as a rugby team, we kind of looked at it and we're like, should we do something? And we're like, he deserved that. Like we look at like, do you have friends like that? You're like, he had that one coming. We're having a good time.
And of course, with everything, and James, I'm going to ask you, when you went to Denver, by any chance, did you see anything insane inside the Denver airport? Because everybody always talks about all this weird Illuminati type shit, like bunkers underneath the airport, photos of like the end of the world and shit, and the weird blue horse with the red eyes that they say represents the four horsemen of the apocalypse. Did you see any of that while you were there?
Oh yeah, like Denver is a huge airport. It's like one of the biggest airports in the country. It's one of the it's like right in the middle of the country. You see all kinds of weird stuff, and like you guys were saying, the homeless people are very nice in Denver. I think Denver is like the only place in the country where you see homeless people at the airport.
Oh yeah,
like they're hanging out, which is pretty smart if you're a homeless person, because people are landing, they're like hurrying up trying to get to their lifts and Ubers and all. And if you come up to them, hey, can I have some change? They're like, yeah, here, just get away from me. Like, and they're all day long. But yeah, Denver, the only airport I saw homeless people at.
Nice. And of course, Jimmy, me and you, we go way, way far back. I mean, Christ,
Oh, yeah.
I remember it was, I think, 2002. The first time I had met you, I sat next to you and Chris Clow at SmackDown. And we were all talking about where we were training at. You were at, Bone Breakers. I was at Brain Busters, all that fun. And then fast forward to about 20 years later down the road, we've worked each other in the ring. Clow has done stuff with WWE. You had an amazing run with WWE. Unfortunately, I never had a chance to do any of that, but it's funny that we all were able to work with each other and from that point go forward. Like, it blows me away with all that. So
It's crazy. It's already been 20 years. Like, it doesn't feel like that. And I just remember, like, you were always one of the coolest guys to hang out with or talk to, because it's a crazy business. Like,
oh yeah,
you know how it is. People act weird, and like I think wrestlers are the weirdest people in the entire world.
Oh yeah, dude, yeah.
And like you're always down to earth and always cool, like because I'm of the mindset at the end of the day, we all do the job. We're all going to kick the bucket, so we might as well be nice to each other. And in wrestling, sometimes there's people that aren't so nice, but you were always cool, and I always appreciated that about you. So.
Yeah, and one thing, and I posted it not too long ago, one of my favorite spots that I've ever done in my career was against you and your partner, Adam Ugly, when you guys were pretty ugly, and you guys had Chris Adonis. Speaking of Chris Adonis, when Erik brought up the thing of tipping the stripper with a napkin, we once had a guy who wasn't all there tip a stripper with a signed photo of Chris Adonis at a strip club. And
see, that's just living the gimmick, though. That's good. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. That's staying in character.
Girl.
Yeah. But no,
I hope he didn't apologize. I was just like, if anything, you owe me $20. That's what you owe me.
she pulled it out and looked at it and was like, what the fuck is this? And we were just laughing our asses off the entire time. And like we were working each other, and it was me and Wes. We were the Legion of Ungood, and I remember you guys brought us back into ACW, and the Legion was hot in EWA, and then you brought us to ACW, and like it got hot again, and you were feuding with Cole Calloway. And if Tom or Eric don't know, Cole Calloway had an openly gay gimmick, like literally, like tie-dye assless chaps tights, like it was the best. And so
I got it, like a classic Justin Schlegel Boyd pussy persona.
Yes,
I gotcha. I gotcha.
And at some point during the match, we whip in Adam Ugly, and then we whip you in, and it's the whole fall down. He goes, he falls face first onto Adonis. You fall down. You go into the doggy style position, and you guys are just sitting in the middle of the ring like that. And all of a sudden, Cole Calloway comes out with butterfly wings, and he gets all excited, and he's just hopping up and down. And you hear the commentator go, I've never ever seen a run-in for the gay spot.
Yeah, no, I came up with that spot. I just thought it was hilarious because we would do that spot without Cole Calloway other places. Yeah. And I remember looking at Cole Calloway in the locker room. I was like, what if we do the spot and then Cole Calloway we stay in the spot for longer than we should. Yeah. And Cole Calloway comes out and he's excited about the spot. He's excited we're in this position. And once I left Bone Breakers, like Bone Breakers shut down in 2003, and I started training with Axel Rotten, like going on the road with him. And man, I learned so much from him. And it was stuff like that he's like, man, wrestling is supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be fun for the audience. It's supposed to be fun for the performers. He said, if you're having fun in there, the crowd's going to have fun with you. And you got to come up with creative, fun stuff for them to enjoy. And that stuck with me like throughout my whole career. And I would just, and being around Ruckus too, because Ruckus was creative in a different way. Ruckus would come up with just these crazy spots that you would, like the old video game spot he does where he's jumping on you like Mario does the turtles and everything. And so I always looked at wrestling like that. You got to do creative things. The audience just go, what am I, this is great. What am I watching? Like to entertain them. And it was just one of those days. I remember seeing him in the locker room. Let's do that same spot we always do, but he comes out and he's happy about it. It worked good. Yeah.
It'd be great if you ever wanted to relive it and you just have like I love the gimmick matches, like the thing on top of a pole you have to get, or like the strap. What about it's the drop the soap match where you each have a soap bar, and then the winner Calloway gets the loser of the match. Whoever drops the soap. It's like a last man standing match, right?
Right. I don't know if you remember this, Ray, but like Cole Calloway like wasn't even gay.
Yeah, I know. I was going to bring that up. He
had a beautiful girlfriend back then. Like, and I'm like, dude, like you play this so well. He wasn't.
He was straight as a board, and I think he was a physical trainer or something like that. And I think he got hurt, and that's why he stopped working. But his gimmick was money. It was one of my favorite gimmicks of all time, and it was so over, like crazy over.
Very entertaining. Everybody understood it. Everybody liked it. Everybody watching got it. And once I talked to him, he messaged me, I don't know, a year and a half ago maybe, and just saying, hey, how you doing? How you been? All that kind of stuff. And I was like, man, you still doing this? He's I thought about getting back in it. And I think I remember thinking to myself, I don't know if you could do that anymore unless you're actually like gay, like people get upset or offended, like this crazy world we live in where everybody's nuts. And I don't even know if you'd be allowed to do it or how that works, but I remember thinking that. I'm like, could he even do that now?
What if he has to actually blow one guy and then he's allowed to?
Right, like,
a limit, right? They're like, listen, honey, it's for the job. I got to go in. I got to clock in again so I don't get canceled.
Right. You don't know. Like, it's just so weird. People are weird, man. People are out of their minds. So you don't know.
They're like, are you questioning my sexuality? Well, let me show you this. Now what, right? And then it's like that Seinfeld episode, like where he's like, he's only Jewish for the jokes, right?
I love Seinfeld. So
Oh, hell yeah.
And Jimmy, of course, you were in WWE. Of course, your first appearance was against Braun Strowman. And I keep on hearing different stories on how that came to be, but I've never actually heard it from you. I heard a bunch of guys who were around or who know you pretty much said that it was the kind of thing that Arn Anderson asked somebody to throw a punch and you threw the best punch. And that's how you ended up out there. Is that how exactly did all that go down when you were, being put against Braun Strowman?
Yeah, he had us all line up. It was like 6 of us, like extras. Like anybody, like I tell people this all the time. Anyone could be an extra talent at WWE. You literally just email them and bug them, or if you know somebody there or whatever. It's just when they come to like a town and they have television, they look for local guys just to beat up real quick or be security guards, be fake doctors or whatever. You're an extra, just like any extra, like an episode of Seinfeld. People eat in the background at the diner there.
Yeah,
like you're just an extra. But so they needed somebody for Braun Strowman that night who was making his debut without the Wyatt family for the first time. He was distancing himself from the Wyatt family and becoming his own entity. And they had all 6 of us line up, and they were like, whoever throws the best punch is going to get the spot because, whoever has the match is going to punch Braun Strowman twice. So we'll start with you because you're the smallest, and I was the smallest. So I throw a punch, and Arn Anderson's like, I don't have to see anybody else. You got the spot. And I'm like, whoa, cool. And so yeah, it was that's how it happened. And that was really like that was to this day. I still think, other than later on that night, I think that was one of the biggest compliments I ever got in wrestling because it's Arn Anderson.
Yeah, without question.
But that's how I got the spot.
When that's happening, right? So James, hi, I'm Erik, by the way. Hey man, I want to credit you because I hadn't watched professional wrestling. Like I took a break through most of that ruthless aggression, like when WCW dissolved and stuff like that, and it got real wonky in the WWE. I was just like, I kind of didn't watch for a while. I remember turning it on. One of the first episodes I watched was literally you, okay? And that night against Braun Strowman. And when that happens, right, and you're out there and they let you, I think you said something along the lines of any guy with 2 fighting hands has got a shot, right? And while that's happening and it goes off and you go backstage afterwards, do you know that you're over at that point? Like, do you feel that, or did it take like a couple of days to realize like, holy shit, they want me back and fucking this is a big deal?
So this is like, it's probably the best story I have. And it's the first day I was ever there. But so I'm in gorilla position. The match before us was Sasha Banks and I believe Charlotte. And it was the first time Sasha Banks ever won the women's title. Right. It was the match before us. And I'm in gorilla. And, I'm a big Sasha Banks fan. And I got to know her in WWE. I got along with her great. I know people read the internet and feel a certain way about her, but she was always really good to me. But I'm watching the match. The match is great. Like, and they're having this good match. And Sasha wins the title for the first time. And when you're an extra talent, I don't know how they do it now, but 2016, you're not allowed to walk down the ramp. You have to walk like around the ramp and then like through the crowd and through the timekeeper's table and the ring.
Really? They make you walk out like a peasant? Like they're like through the crowd peasant.
So the reason why I'm telling you that is they get back from the match, Sasha and Charlotte, and I'm watching like Sasha cry because she just won the title for the first time, like, and Stephanie McMahon, giving her a hug and everything, and Triple H giving her a hug and everything, and they're all congratulating her, and I'm watching this, and I got stuck in that moment, and I remember the referee's like, "Hey, you got to go," and I walked down the ramp and I forgot I was supposed to go like through the crowd. I walked down and I get in the ring and the referee there, we call him Spider. Spider goes, you weren't supposed to walk down the ramp. And I was like, oh crap, my bad. I don't know. And then they're like, oh yeah, by the way, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. And I had to do the promo. And I was like, so I'm getting like chewed out by the ref. He was nice about it, but and then I had to go right to the promo, do the promo. I came up with the line, any man with 2 hands has a fighting chance. It's kind of a playoff of Rocky V. He says to his son, I just figure if you have 2 fists, you have a chance. He says that in Rocky V. So I just kind of took that and made it my own. And Jimmy Jacobs was my writer that day. And I asked him if I could say that because I was hitting Strowman twice. And he's like, yeah. He's like, that's a great line. Go ahead and say it. So I said that, and after the promo was over, I felt like it went well. I was like, yeah, that, feels like what it should have been. I should have been scared, but I'm going to try this anyway. I know he's going to kill me, but I'm going to still try to fight him. And then we do the match, and it was very painful. When the cameras roll on you when you're on national television, they hit a little harder because the camera's right on you, and he's a big boy. So I felt everything he did. He hit me in safe spots. I was okay, but man, I remember thinking, dude, this hurts. And, the match is over, and I sell to the back, and Arn Anderson finds me. He's like, "Hey, kid, good job." He goes, "Vince wants to see you," and I was like,
"Oh shit, he's mad at me for walking down the ramp."
Right.
That would be something Vince would be pissed about.
I'm like, shit, I'm about.
Who the fuck you think you are, kid?
I thought to myself, I'm about to get yelled at by Vince McMahon. He's going to kick me out of this building. I'm never going to be allowed here again. That's that one and only shot on Monday Night Raw. My one and only time I'm ever going to be on there, and I'm not going to remember it in a good way because I'm getting kicked out of this building. So I slowly walk to Gorilla, and I'm scared. I'm so just frustrated. And I go to the Gorilla, and I'm walking up the steps, and he's walking down the steps. He's like, "Hey, James, come here. I'm like, "Yes, sir." It was great job out there. Your facial expressions are great. Your promo was great. Your selling was great. He goes, "I have no choice but to hire you." And I was like, "Thank you." What, huh? And you could tell I thought he was kidding. And Triple H like, "Man, he's serious. He's going to hire you." And I was like, "What?" And I remember I was walking down it's like a movie. I'm walking back down the hallway, and there's WWE guys high-fiving me, telling me good job and all this. And I went and sat in catering, and Roman came up and gave me a hug, and I'm like, what is going on here?
You're just waiting to wake up from the dream that you're having.
Right. And I just thought he was going to yell at me for walking down the ramp. That's all I thought it was going to be. It was nuts, man. That was it was just one of those things. It just reminds me of a movie. I still, here it is, almost 7 years later. I still don't grasp what happened. It was. But I will tell you, all day long, all I cared about was doing a good job. I wasn't nervous. I wasn't I was this is going to be my one and only time on WWE. I really want to do a good job. I want to look back on this and go, oh, I did good. That's all I cared about. All day long in my head, I was beating myself up about doing a good job. And I don't think to this day I've had a better performance than that, even though the match is only a minute and a half long, but that's what counts. Facial expressions, selling's the most important thing. And, your verbiage, your promo skill, that was the best I had to offer that night for sure.
I personally think, and later on in time, they built up the thing. I forgot what WrestleMania it was, but it was at WrestleMania where they did that horse shit gimmick where Braun Strowman won the tag straps with the kid. And the entire time, the only thing that was planted in the back of my mind, and a few of the other people that I know, they were like, they have to do Ellsworth. It has to be Ellsworth. And to me, I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, this will be a full circle type thing that he needs a partner. And the guy pretty much that Braun Strowman made famous and beat the dog shit out of comes out to be his tag team championship partner at WrestleMania. And I feel the pop would have been huge. And then they did that shit with the kid. And I was like, what are we watching right now?
So they did call me and talked about it, and it never got to the point where it was going to happen, but it was an idea.
Really?
And the idea was same thing. He was going to look through the crowd, and I was supposed to have a baseball cap on frontwards and eating a hot dog, and he was going to look down, and I was going to look up, and I have mustard on my face and all, and he was going to see me smile. So I don't know. The reason they told me they went with the kid was in Vince McMahon's head. He felt like if you're a kid and you see this kid get picked out of the crowd and get put in a match at WrestleMania and win a tag title, you always want to go to WWE shows because you think that could happen to you. So you beg your parents to go. You make your parents take it because you think maybe one day that could be you. They could pick you out of the crowd to be in a match. Yeah. So that was this guy's a genius, man. I think towards the end of his career, he wasn't as sharp at meaning he didn't care as much, I think.
Yeah.
But the guy, dude, he takes the stuff. he's the only person in the history of the world that's become a billionaire off of professional wrestling. No one else has ever done.
Yeah. See, I think I'm a different kind of kid. Like I never want to be the tag title holder as a child, but I'd always want Eddie Guerrero to fight my dad so that we could find out who my real father was. That's what I really wanted personally.
Hey, isn't it weird that Dominic Mysterio looks more like Eddie Guerrero than Rey Mysterio?
We don't know. We don't know.
Yeah.
Because that guy's got more Latin heat than high flying moves. I'll tell you that.
Well, it's funny because like they're doing it now, and like Dominic like does a lot of Eddie stuff, and like they did that gimmick, and it's like it kind of makes you think like, you know how you had the Matt Hardy and the Edge thing, and it was kind of like a worked shoot. Like, was the Eddie and Ray thing with Dominic a worked shoot, and they just didn't say anything? It's like, wait a minute.
Yeah, I want to see some Ancestry.com.
Yeah.
But yeah, like he has the mullet going on, and it looks just like Eddie. Now he's with Rhea Ripley, and it kind of reminds me of Eddie and China when they were together.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for him to say Mamacita to Rhea Ripley, because that would just totally set it off. But it's weird because for some reason every WrestleMania part of me always thinks that Eddie's music is going to hit, and he's going to come out and say I lied and he never died. And like part of me just like, I loved Eddie so much that part of me really wishes that would happen. But
greatest wrestling. I think the greatest like thing of a wrestler who's been faking that they've been dead this entire time would just to see Andy Kaufman face off with the King one last time. He's like, I disappeared for 50 years and I'm back, and I want you to know I want the WWE women's strap.
I love me some Andy Kaufman.
Yeah, hell yeah. It would be great if they just somehow convinced Jim Carrey to do it once. Just come out and be Andy Kaufman one last time.
Well, actually, Jimmy, weren't you kind of running like a Kaufman like gimmick there for a little bit? Like you worked some of the women, and I remember post WWE you were getting booked in some indie shows and you won like a women's title or something. I remember seeing that online. I was like, oh shit, they're literally going the whole thing where he won like a women's championship. What company was that for?
Well, I before I left WWE the first time, where they like I never really left. They just gave me some time off, and they were like, "Hey, don't sign anywhere else. Do your indies, and we're gonna bring you back." So like that was always the thing. And the last thing you saw me do was get beat up by all the girls. And I was like, man, what if I took this on the indies? Because that's the last thing they saw me do on TV. I made my own intergender championship, and I was like, how easy would it be if I just like wrestle girls all over the world, like independent wrestling girls? This will be easy. The crowds will all like it. They'll get it. I took the first ever women's Money in the Bank contract, and we can play off of that. And like, yeah, I had a year of doing that. Just like I wrestled all the good indie girls, like Britt Baker, Tessa Blanchard, but just Thunder Rosa, Penelope Ford. I mean, I keep going. Like it was Shotzi Blackheart, like girls that are on TV right now. Like I would try to wrestle the ones who I thought were the best. And like I swear, like six or seven of them are on TV now. And yeah, that was easy and fun.
I would love to see a rematch between you and Britt Baker, where you call yourselves James Ellsworth on DMT, like DMT.
That girl really found herself, man. Like that gimmick's awesome, and it's a real life thing because she's really a dentist. But yeah, out of everybody, all the girls there, she found herself and found her niche, and I'm happy for her because she's a cool chick. So I'm glad she's doing well.
And then, of course, you were also paired with Carmella, which you had the whole entire gimmick where she gave you a makeover. And those like vignettes that they did with those were just fucking hilarious. Like how long did you guys film those vignettes? Like how long did it go on with you trying on different clothes? Because I know Vince is very meticulous with his vignettes. Like how long did you guys actually do that until they finally found like the final cuts for those vignettes?
Well, we went to the mall one day and we went to like a department store that WWE like rented for us to
really?
Yeah, to do these vignettes because Vince loved Carmella. Yeah. Like he loved her. Like he thought she was the shiznit. Like, and there was a point in time where like he really liked me too. I think he got tired of me after a while because I'm not a big dude or whatever. But like, so at that point in time though, he loved me and he loved her, and he paired, and it was her idea for us to be together. She thought it'd be cool if like, hey, what if I make him fall in love with me and he helps me win matches and it gets me to the title? And he just ate that up. So he was very hands-on with her and I together. So yeah, he rented a whole department store for us to do this.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. And so we were in there for like 4 hours doing, a couple different vignettes. And she's very good at like the acting and the backstage stuff and the talking. And so it didn't take us long. We got through it pretty quick. And yeah, she was a lot of fun to work with, man. Like real cool chick. I'm glad she's still there. They're really not doing much with her right now, I don't think. But it's different now. It's changed. Like she was definitely a Vince girl. So I hope she winds up doing even more stuff there. But it's just different now. But Vince McMahon loved her, and he was very hands-on with everything we did with that.
And with you doing that, it made me think, because I was thinking of stuff, and of course, like I wanted to talk about, have you guys seen any of the photos from the Paris fashion show that they had not too long ago? Like it's just completely nuts. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull up some of the images, and
now we're getting into my wheelhouse.
All right.
So here's one right there. That's one of the images right here. Is like chicks basically walking. Like another chick on her shoulders, but it looks like I just now noticed her hands hanging there.
Yeah, it's like Texas Chainsaw Massacre chic. I like it. It's nice.
So there's that, and then also like they have like all kinds of like these weird ass fucking costumes where it's like, what the fuck is happening right now? So here, let me go ahead.
Jeffrey Dahmer's really hot right now. This is cutting edge fashion.
What a cool show that is.
Wearing whole humans.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to watch that yet. My wife wants to watch it. But look at that. Like this chick has like fucking like, is that like an actual like whole like did they actually take the time to do like a whole balloon that wrapped around her and then inflated on both sides? Or
it looks like the the scene in The Naked Gun where they both wear the full body size condoms. It looks like. Do you believe in safe sex? Of course. That's that. I see it.
And then, hold on, there was another good one. Where the hell is right here? So this one actually looks like I actually have no fucking idea what's going on with this one, but let's see. This one is. That kind of looks like a stuffed condom. Like someone put on a condom and stuffed too many socks in it. And it just got holes. Like that looks like somebody's sock when they jerk off into it too many times.
It looks like fucking Kanye West fell down the steps.
It looks like the old moon guy from fucking McDonald's fucked a couch.
Oh, yeah, what the fuck was that guy's name?
He was the Moon Man. He's the Moon Man. It looks like Oogie Boogie right there. That's from fucking The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Is that the Joker steps behind him? There?
Yeah.
When the Joker danced down.
Oh, yeah. Like, I mean, just imagine that. Like, you're getting ready to do like a gimmick like that. But like somebody comes in, like Vince sends somebody in with like costumes like that. And dude, knowing you as long as I've known you, you would eat that shit up. You'd be like, yes, yes, and yes to every single one of these. Because I mean, Christ, I'd be like, fuck, whatever. Like, and you know how it is in wrestling. Like, there is no limit. Like, it's the kind of thing where, if you're going to get a stink face in the match, regardless if someone goes, oh my God, you're going to have a man put his ass in your face. It's like, well, I mean, it's a work. Like, that's what we signed up to do. That's what we're being paid to do. Like,
it's just a show. And I think a lot of people need to understand that too. Like, people get ego off of wrestling. I'm like, we're literally out here in a costume. I mean? Like, I think, like Eddie Kingston the other week got mad because Sammy Guevara called him fat on the microphone. I'm like, we're literally out here just talking crap to each other. Yeah, not really. We're not really doing that. And like,
just imagine your worst day at work though. You like, hey honey, how was work? You're like, I got beat up by a shirtless barber last night for 15 minutes. like, like that. Nobody else has that kind of a job, you know.
Like, if I could give any advice to anybody that's going to wind up on television wrestling, you just enjoy it, have fun. Don't worry about what they give you to do. I mean, I'm guilty of, like, they gave me one thing I think I didn't like, and I said something I wish I didn't say anything. And like, you just enjoy it, just do it. It's a job. It's a really good job. You get to travel the world on someone's dime. You get paid really well. Like, they make toys of you. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Yeah, I remember when your figures came out, you would randomly sign figures and leave them in the store for people to find them. And that was really fucking cool. I'm like, not many other people do that.
Yeah. I always like, and you were saying, James, I think one of the things that's kind of overlooked, WWE does a lot of bad comedy bits, like horrible ones. But you are one of there's a couple of people who do it great. And I think you were definitely one of them. Like, you look at like the Chris Jerichos, the Kevin Owens, they have the certain ability to make something hilarious and entertaining. And you're one of the few that can do that. That's not something that should be overlooked. Also, personal favorite, Damian Sandow, though, because his run, he took the shittest gimmick and made it my favorite thing in the whole world, where he had to be the Miz's Damian Sandow, and everything that he did hurt him. Like, oh god, I used to do that to my brother's older friend. Like, he'd hit my friend, and I would pretend that it hurt, and like we would do that vice versa to him. I was like, yes, that's a bit I did in 6th grade. Awesome. This is everything I want to see right now. So hats off to you, sir.
I was a big fan of Damian Sandow as well when he was Mizdow and all. That was so good. And you know, he definitely could have did more. And it's political and stuff happens. You know, and he's one of them. Probably got bit by the political bug, I'm sure, but because he's great.
I'm so crossing my fingers they just bring him back to be Elias. Now that like I'm crossing every day. I turn it on. I'm like, did he show up tonight? Damn it! All right. I just want one tag match where he's like, you guys don't believe that my brother's here. Here he is, and it's Damian Sandow as fucking as Elias. He's like, yeah, I haven't been hitting the weights as hard. I took some time off.
That Ezekiel thing, I thought that was going to be bad comedy, and that turned out to be gold. Like, you know, like, so.
Well, that's. I mean, a big part of that just goes to how good Kevin Owens is. I like that he just took, like, he could be Jericho's right hand man 1 second in this hilarious spot, but then turn around and basically be like, he basically felt like Charles Groening from like Beethoven. He's like, you can't do this. This is ridiculous. Like, just the most stressed out that he's like, why are you guys believing this? Like, I love that, man.
And of course, you know, comedy is very familiar to you. You started off with Adam Ugly as Pretty Ugly. So, and I think, dude, until you made it up to WWE and you were James Ellsworth, you were always Pretty Jimmy Dream, and you guys were always Pretty Ugly. How did you guys come in with the whole Pretty Ugly? Of course, Adam Ugly was the new age nasty boy. You know, Adam Ugly, he had the toilet seat on his head. You know, you came out with the hairspray and, you know, the fishnets and all that shit. How did you guys just sit down one night, or was that Ruckus's idea? Because Ruckus created the Legion, and that was gold. And like, how did that come to be?
So we, you know, Adam and I went to high school together. I've known him since I was 13. So we've known each other 25 years now. But I remember, like, we never thought about being a tag team. And when we started with EWA back in 2005, Ruckus was the booker. And he was like, yeah, I'm going to pair you guys up. And we're like, we don't want to be a team. He goes, you guys are like best friends. He's like, you'll figure it out. Just you know, you guys figure it out together. He's like, you might not know who you are or where this is going to go, but you'll figure it out. So when we first teamed, we didn't have the Pretty Ugly name and all that. We're just kind of teaming. We're like, what do we do? We weren't mad that we were teaming. We just didn't get it. And we were in Delaware, and this guy, I don't know if you remember Tristan Spade.
Yes.
He goes, why don't you switch your name to Pretty Jimmy, and he'll be Adam Ugly, and you guys just be Pretty Ugly. And he said it just like Adam. They were like, what? And then we tried that, and then I remember then we just fell in love with it. We're like, okay. And I had like brown hair. I was like, what if I dye my hair blonde and I'll try to look like, you know, the way I figured this out. I was watching The Beautiful People, Velvet Sky and Angelina Love make their entrance. I was like, what if I think I'm like pretty like that? Like, what if I think I'm a beautiful person? Like, and obviously I'm not, and I was like, that's what I think I am. I think I'm one of the beautiful people, and you're Adam Ugly, and you're just embracing who you are. You're picking your nose, you got your gut hanging out, you're scratching your ass, you're wearing a toilet seat. You're embracing that you're this, ugly persona. But me, I truly think I'm pretty, and that's the gimmick. And so it happened over a couple of years. I think it was before its time. It was still like in that era of like smaller guys weren't getting like a lot of opportunities or whatever. And which it's funny because I love larger than life characters. It's stuff like that. But it was fun, man. And I think we definitely could have did a lot more with it. And like I say, it's before its time because I think this day and age it would work even better. But yeah, we had a blast with that for sure.
Yeah, I feel like the Legion today would be super huge. Of course, you remember the Legion started off like it was kind of the same thing. Ruckus gave us that gimmick, and he's like, "You guys are going to be evil villains, but you're bad evil villains. Like you don't know how to be evil villains." And we're like, "We don't know what you're saying." And like he looked at me, Wes, and Bobby Pancakes, and he's like, "You're Gold Thumb, Dr. X, and Mystery E Machine, and you're the Legion of Ungood, and you're gonna hail from the secret underground volcanic layer." And we looked at each other and we're like, we want to quit the business. Like we literally walked out of that room like we want to quit the business. And then the first show we came out, we took that shopping cart and we made it into our superhero, our villain vehicle, which we stole from Walmart and put wood on the side of it and painted it up. And then we came out and you remember EWA had that stage, that wooden stage. And I wasn't paying attention to what was going on. And the whole set of wheels on the left side were off the stage. So our music hits. Of course, it's the Imperial Death March. We come down, and then fucking Wes in the cart the cart just flips over. You just hear him, ah! And he just goes down and hits the ground. And at that point, you hear everybody in the crowd and everybody in the back just start laughing. And when Wes gets up and he starts hitting me, he's hitting me like legit, like, you fucking idiot. Like, you dropped me off the stage. And that's what made the Legion. As soon as we went in the back, Ruckus was like, we couldn't have paid you guys to do that better than what you just did. And then he looked at Wes and he's like, you guys are going to have to do that every single time you come down to the ring. So every show we thought of how I would knock him over in the cart, or I would get distracted, let go of it, and go flying down the stage. And we would just lose. We were jobbers. And then our first win was against you and Adam in November of 2005. Because I remember we worked you guys. And then later on in 2010 was the ACW thing when the Legion came back and we worked you guys for the tag belts. So that's always been two like Legion highlights there that I was like, man, I was able to work Pretty Ugly the first go around of the Legion. And then they're the only other team that we ever worked a second time for the second incarnation of the Legion later on. So that was really cool.
Yeah, old Ruckus, he just mad scientist, really.
I feel like Ruckus is very underrated for what he did. And of course, Jimmy, I think you kind of like you've been kind of lucky like I have. Like I didn't really get many like serious injuries in the business. Like I don't ever recall you, like I haven't ever seen on social media or anything like that you getting seriously injured. Like how have you like dodged getting any kind of serious injury like over all this time in the business?
Just working smart, it just being safe, not taking a lot of big risks when you don't have to. Like I'll take a big bump here and there when it counts, when it matters, when it means something. But I think a lot of guys go out there, they're just trying to impress people when they shouldn't be. Like you can get over without doing that. I've had minor things. I've had a few teeth knocked out. Like I broke my hand one time, but I wrestled through it, put a cast on it. Really, like you said, knock on wood, nothing too crazy. But yeah, I think it's just working smart, taking clean bumps, and not putting myself in too many positions where it's like I may get hurt. I know at the 2017 Royal Rumble, like Strowman kind of threw me out of it pretty recklessly. And if you go back, I took a clean bump on the floor. And that hurt, knocked the wind out of me. But since I land like, in the position we've been taught our whole career, I was fine. Like, you got to just, not put yourselves in positions where you really can get hurt. I know that's not easy. Anybody get hurt anytime in wrestling. You can, tear your ACL hitting the ropes. We're already doing, like, everything we do is dangerous anyway. So, but, don't make it any easier to get hurt. It's always been my philosophy. Try to,
work smart, not hard. Yeah. Like that. And it's funny because like we've always avoided injuries our careers. However, for our drunken news articles, this poor guy did not escape injury. And pretty much its man claimed that he was Jesus Christ and Satan before cutting off his own leg with a saw. And this happened in Boone County, Arkansas. It says a couple is facing charges after investigators said a man cut off his own leg in front of his young child. In an arrest affidavit obtained by Clark, Boone County Sheriff deputies arrived at a home to find a man lying in front of the residence naked and missing part of his leg. The man, identified as Shannon Cox, that's his last name's Cox. So okay, cool.
This guy will do anything to get a leg up for his family. I don't understand what the problem is here. He's just being a good dad.
Said he had removed his leg with a chop saw, and deputies a trail of blood led to the large saw and a detached limb. According to deputies, the only other person at the residence at the time was a 5-year-old girl. Deputies say the child was present during the incident. Could you imagine? Like, imagine this. Like, I'm a kid playing with my wrestling figures in the living room, and I just look out the window, and I just see Dad laying naked in the yard with a chop saw, just going at his own fucking leg.
Yeah, but your dad wasn't Jesus.
Yeah, and the devil in one.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
He was just cutting the Satan-infected part of his leg off.
What if he was like watching? I imagine that like he was watching the movie Saw, and then his like 5-year-old daughter looked over, and they're like, "Dad, you would never do that." He goes, hold my beer.
Oh, actually, it says
he just looks at his daughter and he's like, "Oh, you want to play a game?"
It says when deputies interviewed Cox's wife, Sandy, she said her husband made odd statements that day before saying that he was Jesus Christ and saying that she needed to get right with the Lord. So basically he looked at his wife and he's like, "You need to get right with the Lord." And then he went outside and proceeded to cut his leg off.
Oh, okay.
Sandy also told deputies.
Well, that's good. I thought he was crazy for a second.
Sandy also told deputies that her husband became violent and claimed to be Satan. So he told his wife that she needed to get right with the Lord and that he was Jesus Christ. But then he got violent and claimed to be Satan. Like, I feel like there's a lot of like multiple personalities going on.
Satan would appreciate if you'd stop comparing himself to this guy. He would never do such a thing.
Sandy told deputies at one point that her husband threatened to twist her head off, prompting her to leave. Well, so wait,
she left the kid there.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. So he threatens to twist. She's probably just like, you know what? Twist off her head. I'm out. I'm done. Like, just do whatever you need to do. I'm out.
I gotta go to work in the shop real quick. The things you'll do to just get out of a conversation with your wife. Jesus.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus. It says the child, who was not identified, told deputies that she witnessed her father cut off his own leg, and deputies described as the child as being in shock. Well, what the fuck else would she be in?
I don't know, man. It sounds like a pretty soft ass kid, dude.
Yeah. She should have had the $20. Why didn't she pay up the $20 after the dare? You know, that's my biggest problem with it. I don't know.
Kid needs to grow up a little bit.
This guy this is a good, honestly, from everything I've heard, this is the best way for CPS to come pick this kid up. This wasn't a safe environment before the leg chop day, right? This is
the leg chop day.
Yeah. What do you think led up to this? You know, there's days where he just rolled himself in a fucking rug and just said, "I am God" for a half hour. You know what I mean? This was the end of a fucking horror movie for that little girl. Thank God.
And what we're going to do real quick, we're going to get into our game segment. So, Jimmy, we're going to play a series of games. We're going to start it off with what do you meme? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up a photo on the screen, and you're going to meme that photo. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this up here. And what do you think a meme would be for this guy who looks a little bit like DJ Hyde with glasses?
Okay.
Kind of looks like Mario, Super Mario. Like, what's he pointing at there?
Point at you.
Yeah, I don't want him to point at me. He looks like he might be. What would I put over top of this? Is that what the game is?
Yeah. What would you meme that as? Like, if you were to make a meme with this photo, what meme would you make out of this?
This is my Tinder photo. Like this guy.
That's the last thing that little girl saw before he was like, I'm going to get the fucking chop saw.
Sweetie, do you have the chop saw?
Yeah. Looking at ass and check out the finger blast. That's his Tinder. That's his Tinder pic right there. That guy.
Like that's like,
Jesus in the streets, Satan in the sheets, baby.
Yeah. I mean, that's a picture of a guy who you realize that's his fuck face right there. Like, he's like, this is the picture he took. He's like, this picture is going to give me pussy for sure.
It looks like that guy, Ken Bone, that was like in all the debates and shit.
Mine is Ray when the second Halloween ends trailer, the confirmation that Wolverine and Deadpool are going to be doing a movie together, and the third season of Unsolved Mysteries are all announced in one day.
He looks like Tony Soprano.
I think he's like one of those guys that I see at conventions that go up to like one of the girls' tables, and he looks like he's going, I'm gonna need you to sign this ring worn gear that I bought from you on eBay.
Oh, and I smelled it for hours before I came here.
You look like one of those dudes.
Yeah.
What about conventions? What's a weird convention? Do you have any weird convention stories?
All of them. Like, I'll say this about wrestling fans. Most of them are cool, man. Like, most of them very nice people, regular people. You know, I meet them every day. Like, but some of them, like, are just so weird, man. Like, you'll get people that hit you up. Hey, can you send me a picture of you putting somebody in like a hooking somebody for a poly driver? I'll send you $100. Just send me a picture of you from behind, you know, setting somebody up from a poly. I'm like, what? Stuff like that.
Can you send me that photo? Because I want to masturbate to it violently.
Yeah. Like, what the, you know, and then you get the so many people lie and it's just weird. But yeah, the conventions, you know, I think like deodorant should be sold at these conventions. And I'm not like being funny. Like, these dudes smell really bad. I'm like, you're about to go up and meet, I don't know, Kelly smelling like that. You know, like,
Yeah.
You have all these wrestling fans sweating together in line.
Yeah, like none of them are wearing deodorant or Axe or anything. Like, it's weird. I don't know.
And what we're going to get into another one of our games. It's called Incoherent. So pretty much what it is it's going to be a series of cards that are going to be in drunken lingo. And you need to sound them out and figure out what they say. There are 2 hints on the cards. So if you need hints, let me know. So this is the first one right here. What do you think that card says?
Bitch, who you telling? Bitch, who you telling? That's what I got.
One of the hints is a fake life.
I got it.
He's got it. So you guys are good at this. I don't know.
I always find it's easy if you just say it with like a Southern accent, like a hillbilly would say it.
Let's see, Birch. Ray, your name's there. See that? Let's see, Lid. I am not any good at this. You guys are wrong dude to do this.
Is a reality for people who don't like reality.
Reality for people. What, like, these are riddles. Don't like reality. Purgatory?
Tom, you said you got it.
Yeah, it's virtual reality.
Yes, it is
It's virtual reality.
virtual reality. So,
You ain't ever put on them virtual reality glasses?
James, a good way of doing it is kind of like saying it fast. Like a lot of times people get it and don't realize that they get it because they say it fast, like right out the jump.
Okay,
So,
can I just be honest? Like when I take my daughters out to eat, you know how they give them like the little coloring book and it has like puzzles in there and stuff. I
Yeah.
can't spell those.
well, you're going to be excited to know that there's 2 more rounds.
Oh wow!
Hmm.
Well, it's fun.
Huzzah.
So
I
what
bet
do
you-
you think this one is?
Door. What?
And it's funny because some people get these immediately just like that.
Oh,
and
I'm not.
People just have some people just flatline with their brain. They see these, so don't feel bad. We've had
That's how this is my first time ever doing this. I'm a 2-door reel McCup 2-door reel.
you're kind of close. One of the hints is Beauty 101.
Makeup.
That's the first word. It's makeup.
I got it.
It's something if you were to go into like Ulta or Sephora with your wife, normally they're doing these inside of there, like kind of like helping the girl or showing the girls how to do their makeup.
Let's see. Where's my wife? She'll be good at this.
Great for learning how to hide your hickey from your boss.
Hmm.
Who the fuck hides their hickey from their boss? Like who? Never mind.
I remember when I was.
Well, that's what I call my wife. I call her boss. So,
All right, Tom. What do you got? Let her rip.
Makeup tutorial.
Yes, it is makeup.
Tutorial. I don't even know what. I've never even said the word tutorial. This is the first time I'm ever.
All right, so we got one last one, and then we will move on. So this is going to be the last one. So let me go ahead and pull that up, and we will get that up here. So, Mr. Jimmy Dream, what do you think this says? And you may have done one of these before. You can do them at a party.
And I'm in again.
got it.
Man, he's so good at this. You can do it at a party. You can invite some enemies in my day.
One of the hints is tap it.
I'm not understanding this at all.
Doing a handstand while guzzling alcohol directly from the tap.
I give up.
What do you got, Tom?
Cake stands.
Yes, it is keg stand.
Cake.
Yeah.
So after that, we move on to Jimmy. Have you ever played Cards Against Humanity?
No.
Okay, so Cards Against Humanity, pretty fucked up game. What we do is we're going to read off a face card, and then you're going to give us a lucky number between 1 and 6 to try to answer that card, and we're going to see what you come out with. So the first one is Jesus is blank. Now, what do you think? Lucky number 1 through 6.
2.
2. All right, so 2. Let's see. Jesus is uncut daddy dick. So are you satisfied with that, or do you want to rebuttal and choose a different card?
I'm going to rebuttal and choose a different card just to see what else these things
All right.
say.
So 1 through 5, what do you think?
Let's do 5.
5. All right, so 5. Jesus is leading children around with a magical flute.
Mm.
We'll stay
Very
with
nice.
2.
Yeah, that could have been what the dad was doing, leading his daughter around with a magical flute before he decided, I'm going to go outside and now remove my leg with
Yeah.
a saw.
Maybe he was just trying to be the next Zach Gowan. I don't know.
It's a real weird way to reboot Home Improvement. That's all I'm saying. You know,
And then
It
we're
does
gonna,
sound like a Saw movie.
we're going to do another one. This one is Siskel and Ebert had panned blank as poorly conceived and sloppily executed. 1 through 6.
Let's go 1.
1. All right. Siskel and Ebert have panned an ambitious woman who wears pants as poorly conceived and sloppily executed. So, do you like that answer, or do you want to rebuttal for a different answer?
Let's rebuttal.
We got a better one in there.
All right. So what number do you want?
Let's go 6.
6. All right. So 6. Siskel and Ebert have panned Being Fat and Stupid as poorly conceived and sloppily executed.
Wow. Triggered. It hurts. It hurts here.
And that is our Ode to Humanity segment. And what we're going to do, Jimmy, do you know crippled Ray that's in the wheelchair? Do you know him? All right. So he posts all of that shit online of all of those weird meals that he makes. Have you ever seen any of those?
No.
So he makes all kinds of weird food in an air fryer, and he posts them online, and all the boys pop and comment on them all the time. I started doing them here on the show, and this is one of them. I have no idea what it is, and we're going to try to figure out what this is, and then we're going to create a name for it. So,
okay. So we're naming food now.
Yes.
You got it.
So this is what it is. So what do you think that is?
Oh, okay.
Let me try it. It looks like a crab that like got doused it with peanut butter.
Yeah, it looks like he like deep fried a crab and put like chocolate all over it, like some sort of like chocolate seal, and just put it on a piece of bread. Like I have like Erik, what the fuck? What do you think
peanut butter and crabby
is sitting in front of you?
I would call this dish the Dr. Pimple Popper Pumpernickel. There you go. It's a lot of alliteration there, but we got there.
And
it's disgusting.
What would you, if someone were to walk up, if you were to go to a restaurant and someone were to lay that down in front of you and you were starving, would you eat that? Whatever that is.
It looks like, you know, when you get a rotisserie chicken, but then you put it in the fridge and like the giblets, the jib form, it just like it just looks like giblet drippings on white bread. This is
what happens when they outlaw abortion. This is the kind of shit you get.
I was about to say, like, looks like an aborted turtle or something.
I want my baby back.
We're going to call that the aborted turtle. That's what that's going to be. The aborted turtle. And Jimmy, we're going to let you get out of here momentarily. What all do you have coming up, man? I know you're still doing shows all over the place. Like, have you actually heard anything from like WWE or AEW or any place like that about doing stuff there? Or, you know, I know you got a lot of indie shows coming up.
Yeah, I still do a bunch of indie shows. Like, I feel like you'll see me do some more appearances at WWE in the near future. I think my character fits WWE more than like AEW. Like, I just think, like, you know, kind of like Hornswoggle or the Boogeyman or something like those are WWE characters. I feel like Ellsworth also is just like a WWE character. So I you know, eventually I could see a Royal Rumble or something else with Carmella or you know, or whatever. But yeah, I'm doing indies every week, still running ACW. Even when I was in WWE, I would run ACW. I wasn't able to appear on the shows, but I was like, you know, my schedule would be Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday at WWE normally, unless we did like 2 or 3 week European tours or whatever. But on a Friday night, once a month, I was still doing ACW when I was in WWE. And like, I'm doing a bunch of those shows. Like, we do like a lot of festivals across the country, doing an indie in Virginia on Friday. I stay busy, man. Like, you know, I wrestle 2-3 times a week and just keep at it until I can't no more, you know?
Yeah,
I ain't gonna lie. I know you said no AEW, but listen, just throwing it out there. I'm not a booker. I'm not important. I mean nothing, but I would love to just see the pairing of watching the Odd Couple of you just being very, very perplexed by Danhausen, and then just see Elshausen, right? Or Jameshausen. I don't care what it is, but I'll watch you like, what are you doing right now? What the hell is going on with your life?
I feel like Danhausen should be like obsessed with my chin.
Yes.
What is this thing? What, like, he should be like trying to figure out what it is. Like, he's taking me to like the vet.
He keeps giving you salves that are like, here, this will help grow. Like this.
Like, yeah, he takes me to the fountain of youth. Like, I don't know, just weird.
One night
But,
you
yeah,
come in with a Danhausen face and this impeccable fucking Mr. Body chin that just like sticks out this far. He's like, I've improved him. He's invincible now.
And then someone super kicks the chin off.
Yeah.
But yeah, but it's I feel like if I did like a cameo to AEW, people would react to it too. But like I just like I feel like I know my role a lot. Like the role with Carmella was so good. I thought that fit perfectly. And revisiting that would be something I'd always would like to do. But you never know, man. It's very, and I tell people this, and Ray, you've wrestled, and on every level of this, it's very political. It is, and I'm just not good at that politic and stuff. I just kind of do my thing, and to me, like if you get noise from the audience, if you get a reception, if they're reacting to you, that's what should count.
Yeah.
But James Ellsworth, you get backstage and you're sitting with WWE Creative, and they're like, "Hey, throw us something. Who do you want to work with? What would you love to say?"
Right now, that's a very good question. So when they were doing that 24/7 title stuff, I felt like my character was good with our truth doing that.
Yeah. Oh, that would have been so good. You're right.
Like, I don't know if they're doing that anymore. I haven't seen it on TV.
What with that belt? I haven't seen it on TV in a
I think Triple H is like, because if it were a shoot, why would you want to be the 24/7 champion?
Yeah.
Like your life's a living hell if you have
should be like Crash Holly. Crash Holly did it so well. He was the best 24/7 champion of all time. Like him being, like attacked in hotels, like fucking like Discovery Zone and shit like that. Like that's the chaos of they did
like 60 years old. I was like, why would Crash Holly want to be the hardcore champion? You can't sleep, you can't eat, you can't people up. Don't make any sense. I feel like Triple H goes, you know what, we're getting rid of this. This makes no sense. But it makes no sense for the US title to be defended in Europe or the Intercontinental title to be defended outside of the continent. Also. Or like the world title to be defended outside the world. The Universal title could be defended anywhere.
Yeah. I want to see the Universal title defended on Saturn. That's what I'm waiting for. Elon Musk is going to make this happen by WrestleMania 100. I believe that deep in my heart.
Roman Reigns to like make people on Mars acknowledge him,
Hey, I will say the one thing about the Universal title, 100%, it's a record that'll never be beat. All the champions have been from Earth. So that's a big deal. Truly big deal.
And now, before we let you go, with the ACW stuff, of course, we all know how the Maryland Athletic Commission is. Did all that shit get easier with the commission once they saw you at WWE? Like every time they came to Baltimore and they were like, "Oh, hey, Jimmy, what's up?" Like, did all that get a lot easier?
Well, I mean, I feel like, when they know you've been there, like they are a little nicer to you, but Pat Pinella sticks to his rules. He's still making us do COVID tests. I'm like, dude, the Ravens and the Orioles don't even do COVID tests. Like, but it's at WWE. I will say this: nobody goes up to that table and signs the little bit. It's weird. I'm glad the commission, and I say this, a light bulb goes off if people said, I'm glad we have Maryland State Athletic Commission. I'll tell you why, because if we didn't, everyone and their mother would be running here.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, right now, it's still ACW, MCW, and EWA. Like, those are the three that just withstand time. We're always around. Like, there's been...
Until Jim decides he doesn't want to do it anymore, then there's no predecessor for that company.
Well, like, those three companies, where people, this, that, and the other, they're all still around. And, like, there's been have came and gone. Like even recently, there have been new companies trying to get in. They can't. Like, but those three, like all of them, like ACW's 13 years old at this point. MCW's been around since '98. They took a 3-year break in between.
That's when EWA got hot. Was when MCW took their break. I remember that.
Yeah. So I mean, but for over a decade, all these companies have been around, and like there's been other companies that came and gone. And it's not easy.
Also, you have WWE superstar Brian Hardy, who runs every 10 years as well. So,
I wish everybody the best. I hope everyone's family's doing well and hope everybody lives happily ever after.
Awesome. And Jimmy, honestly, man, I appreciate you coming on the show. It's always good to catch up. And of course, anybody local, I see all the time people posting photos. Jimmy is always at Orioles games, always at Ravens games.
What's the score right now? What's the score?
Actually, I got a notification just a second ago. The Red Sox are beating us 6-3 right now. So,
oh, God. Well, that's the end. Like, I'm still like holding on to maybe the Mariners will go on a 4-game losing streak and we'll go on a 4-game winning streak.
Yeah. But you know what? We got 80 wins. I'm fucking like a pig.
They're going to win. They're going to finish above 500. The Ravens are going to be like 11-6 or something. So we'll be all right.
So, but anyways, man, we're going to go ahead and let you get out of here. We appreciate you coming on to the show. And would you be able to hang out for 1 minute once we're done with the live feed?
Sure. Yeah, I can hang out for a second. What time is it?
Yeah, 8:30. So it'll only be like 1 minute, but we'll be right back here on YouTube Live this Friday. And our featured guest will be Def Noodles. He's a YouTube content creator. That's going to be right here on YouTube Live at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Make sure, you come over. Make sure you hit the subscribe button at the bottom of the screen. And we will be back for that. And James Ellsworth, once again, thank you for joining us on the Happy Hour podcast. And we will see everybody next week. All right.
Later.
So we are